Today in Cartoon Breaking News, Mrs. Foster and Cracker making a new animated project. In another segment, we'll probably focus on Franklin, the Peanuts character that has his own animated movie coming soon in Apple Plus. In another segment, especially all the emotions not yet shown on Inside Out 2 will be revealed by accident. In fact, much more in Cartoon Breaking News. Of course, this is the first time on my channel. My name is Retro. I like to talk about animation. Not just animation, I do reviews, first impression, theories, and also, if I have some spare time, Cartoon Breaking News. And today we're talking about the first segment of the day. I want to talk about is the Inside Out 2 characters leaked out by accident. Let's face it, doesn't matter what type of franchise you are, sooner or later they will reveal all the character by merch because you can't stop the merch. If they don't sell the merch, there will be no profits for the movie. So yeah, it's sort of obvious about to happen. I have no idea why the trailer or people who make the movie thought, oh, let's hide the character and reveal them later on. Like, no, sooner or later they will be revealed by accident. One of the examples, one of the characters was sort of shown in a Band-Aid sort of box, though they're promoting Inside Out 2. You see a character to the side. Another character will be accidentally revealed by a shirt selling in the store, and so forth. In fact, all three emotions that now have been shown will be cuteness, laziness, and bashful. But I don't know the official name of the emotions. And that's sort of what I chose to interpret of these three characters. In fact, what's your interpretation of each emotion, or what their name and what their purpose? Tell me down below. Let me know your interpretation. But to me, the character designs, I feel they're good. Not amazing, but you do understand what the emotions are trying to tell you. And that's the whole point, to understand the emotions and they trying to convey outwards. Of course, we're about to find out how good these characters really are in the movie and what are the importance of this character moving forward until you actually watch the film. But all of that, I feel is sort of uninspired a little bit. I mean, I feel fine with the characters, I said it before, but I have to wait till the movie come out to really understand if they did deliver. Hopefully, the sequel will be good film. Hopefully, because let's face it, they just announced this to save their asses on Disney. But all that, that's all I can say of this small segment. Let's talk about the next segment of Cartoon Breaking News. Now, this segment is a little interesting because it's a show that won an award, but the show I'm about to talk about, it was specially canceled, called Canceled Folly. Only lasted one season. In fact, Netflix, who owns this animated series, really didn't promote it that much. That be not surprised you've never heard of this series, because they just promoted me once and twice and that's it, because they didn't really have confidence in this show. When you watch it, you can see why, because it's an adult cartoon, but it's more about this character called Captain Folly, who basically got a job to basically help a cruise line to be controlled by him. But the only problem is, he's sort of incompetent, but he never realized he's being used by the company, who does very shady things with the crew who deal with black market. And sort of kind of drama, comedic kind of thing that was okay. It wasn't amazing. It did fill a lot of traps of the adult cartoon genre. But yeah, it was sort of interesting and fascinating what they did, and that's what I think the reason maybe I won an award called the British Animated Award. This sort of international animation award they give a few people, and it doesn't really matter if your show was good or bad. If you won an award, it doesn't really help your career. Every time you get a new job, to ask them you want an awards, that will actually help you more to get the job. But other than that, and I thought that sort of fascinating that they have a show that could be more better over the years, but just ironically, when they got canceled, they actually won an award. So it's sort of strange just to sort of briefly talk about it. In fact, do you actually care about Captain Folly, or have you heard of it? Tell me down below, let me know. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, Toon Hub is reporting that Garfield will come out in May 24th, and also reporting the length of the movie will be a total of 120 minutes long. About an hour and 20 minutes onwards, but besides that, are you actually hyped for this film, want to go in theaters, or you could be like me, wait till it come out in digital? Because let's face it, Garfield is one of those franchises it sort of struggle to actually make you go in theaters or actually want to see it because Garfield's always been sort of a TV kind of franchise. But who knows? Maybe because how this movie is introducing Garfield's father, I am sort of curious, maybe not enough to actually go to watch the theater, especially with Chris Pratt, because I'm not the biggest Chris Pratt fan that I'm sort of liking him and hating him depends on what project he is in. Like, I did not like him being cast by Mario because I feel he was not the right person for the film. But this one makes so much sense to him actually you becoming Garfield that it works. It just makes sense. Mario, not really. I feel he's just trying to make an Italian accent, and this one just being himself because usually he just plays himself. If that makes sense, and this one just makes sense because Garfield and Chris Pratt are basically very similar personality-wise, so it sort of makes sense playing this part. Of course, or you gotta watch this in theater, or you not care, or you gotta wait to digital. Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's start the next segment. Now, this segment turned a lot of heads, basically taking double looks because the scratching their eyes to seeing Ariel based on the Little Murray series, Nick Jr. making a preschool show about that's basically Little Murray. But this is the weird part people heads are spinning. It was ordered 120 episodes and it will come out 2027. And that's the weird part that this new Nick Jr. has 120 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. In the fact that is sort of normal, sort of not. I mean, if you don't know how the business work of making shows, that they order a certain amount of episodes and decide to cut it up many pieces. Each piece is basically a season. But back in the day, in the 80s or 90s, for example, like Darkwing Duck, the first season is around by 80 or 120 episodes. Depends which season you picked up, that's how many episodes they have per season. That used to be the normal back then. Nowadays, people are just getting 20 or 10 episodes per season, even not cutting in half to save money. So Ariel is sort of surprised having 120 episodes. It's just sort of mind-blowing because it's been a long time you heard anyone getting that many episodes, especially on the first season. Even that we don't know if they gonna cut the whole episodes in half or several pieces for later seasons, or because they're just cheapskates and they can't really spend that much money ordering new season and paying the animators more money. So you get the idea, the reason why they actually order 120 episodes. But of course, that's still very unusual because the only shows who are allowed to having so many episodes in one season or order so many episodes is that they have really good confidence or show the show is very popular. Like Rick and Morty was ordered like 80 episodes or 100 episodes, something like that, and they just cut it in seasons. This is done the same thing. You get the idea how confident they are on Ariel. That hopefully it's not a flop, but very again, it's not meant for the adult audience or teen audience. It's meant for the young demographic. So it makes sense to do Ariel, the Nick Jr. version, to promote for little kids. That sort of makes sense. Just does not make sense ordering so many episodes. It's just sort of weird, you're overconfident. But besides that, how you felt about this sort of weird order of 120 episodes? Did it make sense to you or not? Tell me down below, let me know. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, this new segment focuses on Hollywood Handle. They sort of tweet out on their own Twitter account and also their own website talking about the controversy of Franklin. If you don't know who's Franklin, it's a character from Peanuts. If you don't know, Apple Plus doing a special about Franklin, basically reintroducing that character. If you've not seen Franklin that much in the Peanuts any special, that's because it's a character he really doesn't have a strong personality because the creator of the Peanuts was sort of convinced to put Franklin in the Peanuts shorts or comic book strips, but the only problem is he sort of struggled to understand what to do with Franklin. But Franklin was sort of important to put in Peanuts because during that time, segregation was a very strong thing back. I don't know what decade it was, maybe probably 60s or 50s. I could be wrong. We correct me down below. Tell me the exact period. But besides that, he basically need to make the character make people sense that it's okay to basically group each other together with different races. It's not wrong with it. It's okay. And the only problem is the creator didn't know how to approach it. He sort of struggled, but he never made it as a sort of racist thing or sort of stereotype. He always did it a very genuine way. In fact, he makes sure he talked to other colored people that frankly feels genuine. And that's the thing he sort of struggled to do. That he was a good character, but he didn't have a personality. And that's the thing was sort of interesting about Franklin is sort of his struggles being in the Peanuts, basically projects, in other words. And I found that sort of fascinating. If you want to read the whole article, it's fascinating history he has creating Franklin. Tell me if you feel that sort of interesting or not. Type it down below. Let me know. And also, are you hype of a new Peanut special from Apple Plus, focusing on Franklin or reintroducing him, giving him more of personality? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Let's talk about the next segment. Now, this news is quite interesting because it's all about the opinion piece of Cartoon Empire that not yet has its own website. They just usually tweet out their opinions or breaking news on Twitter. But it's one of those have so many tweets. It's sort of like a so small essay. But that small little essay or so sort of tweets is actually very interesting because they made a very strong point about Rock, Paper, Scissors that is a show owned by Nickelodeon. It states, in my own interpretation, is basically this show is very important from Nickelodeon because its failure and success determines what the direction they actually go next because they did not have a hit for a long time. In fact, they actually list like about 8 or 10 cartoons the past 5 or 6 years, and all of them been failures, like It's a Pony, Mint Post, Unica Butterfly Unicorn or something like that, and Casangrande. Just to name a few of the shows was just cancel after cancel after cancel, lasted one season. Of course, some of you say Casangrande had 3 seasons, but that one works because it's connected to a La House. And let's face it, 3 seasons is not really successful. It's a thing words. I mean, you could disagree or agree with me. That's okay. That's fine. But besides that, this post of Cartoon Empire keep making sense because they keep saying like the 90s or the 2000s, early 2000s, they have a lot of different genre of cartoons, very unique and different by each other, and yet so entertaining and kid friendly. They were so unique. You have your own pick which show you like, which you didn't. You stick to that channel because it feels so creative. Nowadays, they just stick to one specific genre and never really go beyond what that genre really is. And that's why Rock, Paper, Scissors is very important because it really shows they attempted to do something very experimental, very odd and different, like the original Nickelodeon sort of genre. But lucky for them, later on, when the Super Bowl started, they actually dropped a new show on the Super Bowl moment on Nickelodeon. And it actually kind of blew up about 201,000 views. Yet, that seems not a lot because TV views are usually 100,000 or 200,000, and Rock, Paper, Scissors landed at 200,000 views, and that's a lot from them. And just to compare to SpongeBob, SpongeBob hits to 800,000 to 1 million views, but for a new series, that's pretty big. I mean, it's not mind-blowing numbers, but it's enough to at least guarantee a season 2 or at least finish season 1, and hopefully they do great Green season 2. But that's sort of impressive because it really shows how important Rock, Paper, Scissors really is. Of course, to be fair, I have not seen Rock, Paper, Scissors. I will review on the next couple of days or next week. Depends, I have some spare time. But besides that, when I've seen rock paper scissors has potential, at least the clips I have seen. But let me ask this: how you felt about rock paper scissors? You feel Cartoon Empire has a point that you feel rock paper scissors could be the tipping point to change everything, or not really, just over exaggeration about the post? Type it down below, let me know, and let's talk about the next segment. Now, continuing to talk about the Super Bowl, during that time, they actually show SpongeBob Sweet Victory, but this time with CGI, and also in between showing live action and cuts from the moment of the football season, all the highlights now were mixed together to have Sweet Victory. But in my opinion, it was alright. I mean, I prefer the original because that's just me, but lots of fans did enjoy this kind of reimagining of Sweet Victory, which is SpongeBob. Of course, they also added something actually weirder that Nickelodeon channel shows Super Bowl highlights. It also explained all the football terminology or rules using SpongeBob or Nickelodeon characters. They use SpongeBob and Patrick. They actually are the announcers from Nickelodeon channel explaining football terminologies for a very young audience using sort of like a VTuber sort of equipment. It was weird, it was over the top, it was enjoyable. People liked it, but I have to admit it, the CGI VTubers of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy was sort of weird. It's almost like uncanny valley. It was just feel they didn't have enough emotion, or I don't know because the motion capture they have, or wasn't sure how many movements they could use. It's something that is sort of work in progress using any type of equipment using a VTubing in other words. But yet it was alright. It was enjoyable, especially the both voice actors of SpongeBob and Patrick gave it 110%. Even that the one who had experience about football is Patrick, that you don't know the voice actor used to do commentary on football, but I don't remember he was the to be the professional or little leagues. I just don't remember the right what right thing he actually was in other words. But other than that, it explains why Patrick knows a lot about football because the original voice actor has experience basically narrating football. But besides that, how you felt about the Sweet Victory remake, about all the characters explaining the football terminologies? Do you like it? Do you hate it? To me, I was okay. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of football, but it was kind of fun to watch. Now let's talk about the next segment. Now, this is one that I think everybody is waiting at the very beginning about the Kraken and Mrs. Foster kind of new project called Cruise Ship. That's sort of a deal connected with Nancy Per's deal of Netflix, because all the project about the title of this segment is connected to Netflix. It also connected to Nancy, who's the one who's sort of kind of making the projects that you are watching right now talking about. One is Cruise Ship, that honestly we don't know much about. That's the only thing we know is the married couple of Kraken and Mrs. Foster are going to work together to make that specific project. But the other project is also sort of interesting, called Little Thieves. They changed the name to a Penny Thief. They're basically a graphic novel about a woman who has to have been stealing something, but at the same time she accidentally stole a whole identity. And basically focus on that specific character of Penny Thief. So yeah, that's sort of interesting about these two projects because it kind of come out in Netflix. So the question is, are you hyped or interested of either or? Because let's face it, anything with Kraken and Mrs. Foster, the name attached to them, I probably legitimately watch it 100% because both of them are great, but together they're amazing. Because they probably worked together last time was Imagining Friends. That was pretty good. Even that maybe you don't like the blue character, one of the main leads, you hate him, maybe you like him. That's a crack kind of thing. Hopefully he's not the one who made the lead writer of this project. Hopefully her wife does better writing than her husband. But besides that, that's my opinion. Of course, are you excited? The other one that sounds very interesting called Little Thieves. because it's based on a novel and it has a lot of material to actually do something about the film. Of course, it just feels sort of strange they changed the name to Penny Phantom. That obvious. The reason why they changed the name is easier to understand what the whole movie is about. But besides that, are you interested about these two characters? I mean, are you interested of these two projects? Because let's face it, both projects are fascinating. Now let's talk about the next segment. Now, Cartoon Brew is reporting that Big City Green, the animated movie, will come out in summer. On top of all this, there's a reporting on Deadline that the creators of Big City Green, they have a multi-deal sort of signing. In other words, they can make a live-action series or animated series from Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon, I mean, in Disney or in Fox, or make a animated adult cartoon for Fox. So they basically saying each year they can pitch an idea or make a series however they see fit because how strong the ratings are in Big City Green. In fact, Cartoon Brew is reporting the show is the most watched show in the last year, the second most watched animated series in Disney Channel. So yeah, with all this hype and this show still going on, especially the movie, it makes sense they do deliver both creators of Big City Green. This is the reason why they signed in. So yeah, get ready for more new original ideas from these two creators. If you are interested in that or hype whatever else they'll be creating out of their own imagination. Tell me down below, let me know. Now, this segment probably the strangest segment I do today is basically they now are trying to adapt a book series called Santa on the Panda. In that book, it's basically Santa missing his reindeer. The only one who can help him to basically solve his problems is this panda who can actually fly. So he rides with the panda, delivering all the presents from Christmas. It's a really, really weird synopsis of this book. I never read the book, but the two people who are adapting this to an anime series are very, very well known. If you are basically in the know in the circle groups of animation, will be Bob Miller and Yo Gabba Gabba. Those two kind of sound familiar because this is two people who helped produce Steven Universe, regular show, Primal, and many other shows of Cartoon Network. So having those two helping out adapting this weird book, especially you seen Avengers Time how weird it is, or regular show, that's the one who helped guide the teams to make the show. So having this two could be very hard to see what kind of music they're gonna use and what type of design they would use. Because let's face it, every time they adapt to a book to an anime series, they do a lot of different changing for the necessary because usually it's a completely different medium. But this two person on the project, because they're not doing it, they're supervising. They're looking up to see what the creative teams are doing and guiding them. But because they have so much talent and so many known people in the studio, they could point or give help whatever direction the project needs. So yeah, this project is a good hands. Hopefully this book or this adaptation be really good, especially the high quality producers they are. That honestly, are you curious this, or you just sort of weirded out they want to adapt this to a animated series or movie? Because in the deadline doesn't really say it will be a movie or a series. It just said be an animated thing. So yeah, hopefully be good. Hopefully be a movie because I don't see this to be a series. Maybe a movie because how weird and out there really is. But I am curious what this is, what's kind of come out looking like. In fact, you read the book or know about it, tell me down below if it's any good. To me, it just sounds weird, but I like the weirdness because you do have creating ideas like Adventure Time, how weird and out there really is. Could be the same quality, could be the next Adventure Time. I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know. Tell me down below how you feel about this project. Do you like it? Did you hit it? Let me know. Now let's talk about our next segment. Now, to end this segment will be three things and once, and all three of them, well, except for one, is basically indie. The first one is not the indie version, that is basically a new anime series come out in France only exclusive on France, but you see the trailer, what it's about. Basically, the whole story is basically a bunch of, you say, college students who live in a sort of mansion, and the whole story is they're sort of facing yokai, but not Japanese yokai, specifically facing French, knowing sort of legend or myth, sort of yokai, but they've done it in an animation style like a chibi sort of animation, but it's just so done well and great. Especially this actually based on a book series, and you can see this one done so much love and dedication, especially the animation. It just looked so great. It also, I am a little jealous. But besides that, the other officially indie, especially is a short they doing about South Africa, am I correct? And it's basically a short about a girl who going to Africa, meeting her grandfather who mysteriously died. When she got there, someone is chasing her and attempt to kill her. It's basically a short trying to kick out. It's a short they attempted to get raise money to do the short and Kickstarter. I'm a little stuttery here, but let's keep going. That's the only semester we have for right now. You give it the Twitter right here, right in front of my face, if you want to invest the money to make this short possible. But once again, it just sort of announcing, not yet started the whole short. Now our final segment probably will be uh Alice Alice in the Black Island. If you've not heard of it, I did talk about the last cartoon breaking news, and this is sort of reporting on Twitter on their own Twitter account. They actually are finished. Basically, they completed everything they needed. Now we're just waiting for the next process for figuring out how to promote this new pilot. Now, if you know about the pilot, not really. It's just sort of like an Alice Wonderland sort of deal now, where it's but just wait the trailer come out and hoping we can support it in the cartoon community. Now, the only thing I have left to say to end this segment is the fact, do I miss anything important in the cartoon community? Anything I missed the last couple of days, tell me down below and report it to the whole announcement in the whole group to understand what we need to know or not need to know. And that's basically it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.